Hello, welcome to the Christmas episode of the Retirement Cafe podcast. It's great to have you join me. As we approach the end of the year, I've been reflecting on what a year it's been. The word unprecedented must have been one of the most overused words in 2020. But I would say it's understandable, as we have faced a somewhat unprecedented year in so many ways. This thought prompted me to look up the most popular words in 2020, and you won't be surprised to discover that the list was topped by COVID, a word that was cited at least 100 times more than any other word in the 21st century, according to the Irish Times. Also on the list were terms we were possibly not even familiar with before the start of the year, or certainly weren't part of our daily dialogues, such as social distancing, furlough, flatten the curve, Zoom meeting, self-isolate, and of course, lockdown, which has been named the word of the year by the Collins Dictionary. It's fair to say that 2020 has been a challenging year for so many of us. But for me, there is much to be grateful for. Both lockdowns, especially the first, when schools were closed for such a long time, gave my wife Kathy and I an opportunity to spend lots more time with our daughters, Olivia and Amy, who are 9 and 11 in the summer. We did early morning runs. We learned to ride a skateboard in the local car park that was obviously closed. We did baking, family movie time, supporting our elderly neighbours and keeping their spirits up from a safe distance, of course. We also made friends with Elsie, who helped her celebrate her 100th birthday in June. What fantastic stories she had. And she even talked about, we celebrated VE Day, and a great opportunity to find someone who really has lived a full life. It's fair to say that when the schools reopened for a couple of days a week, for our daughters in June and then fully in September, we were equally grateful to see them return. Lockdown also gave us an opportunity to slow down. No hockey club for the children or for myself. No swimming clubs or swimming lessons for any of us. No rushing from one place to the next. Spent much more quality time as a family. It's not to say we didn't continue with our sport. This was a huge part of daily life when many other regular activities dissipated and disappeared. And it's fair to say that sport and exercise played an important part in keeping us all both healthy and sane. I'm also grateful for the sense of community that I experienced in our area and read about in so many other parts of the UK. Kathy and the girls spent a lot of time with our elderly neighbours in their gardens, chatting and providing a friendly face each day. Those summer days seem to have disappeared fast, don't they? They also did shopping for neighbours and baked them treats at a time when many were unable to see family. As I say, our new friend, 100-year-old Elsie's only family lived in Wales, and so they weren't able to make it to Christchurch to celebrate her 100th birthday in June. We hope they will be able to make it for Christmas. So we played our part in making sure she felt valued and can celebrate. And the simple act of printing photos of her party and celebration that Elsie could send to her son in Wales brought so much joy. During the first lockdown, Olivia and Amy took on a personal challenge, each to raise money for Christchurch Food Bank. Olivia, 20 pull-ups a day for 30 days. Amy, 20 minutes of hula hooping for 30 days. Raised a amazing £1,200. They wanted to do something to help local families who had been hit hard financially as a result of COVID. I'm also really grateful for where we live. We're fortunate to live just a few moments walk from the beach and a short drive from the New Forest, which of course we can continue to enjoy and appreciate on our bicycles or walking even more during the lockdown weeks and months throughout 2020. And finally, it may sometimes feel that we're surrounded by negative news stories. But if we look past the dominant headlines created by a media that strives day after day to grab our attention with negative events world service, there are many positive stories out there. One of the books I'm currently reading is called 10 Global Trends Every Smart Person Should Know by Ronald Bailey and Marianne Tubby. It's been described as a gorgeous, self-contained vignettes on human progress. Its premise is that if you learn about the world through daily news and social media, you will have probably missed the greatest stories of our time. Whilst 58% of people surveyed across 17 countries feel that the world is getting worse or staying the same, and maybe unsurprisingly, this jumps to 65% in America, this book may convince you that this dark view of the state of humanity and the natural world is in large part badly mistaken. A few examples cited in the books include the fall in global poverty from 42% in 1981 to just 8.6% today. Forest areas have been expanding and not contracting, as we're often led to believe, since 1982. And average life expectancy globally has more than doubled since 1900 to 72 years. That's not to say that global issues such as climate change, marine plastic pollution, and declining wildlife populations are not very real problems. But the book explains how huge strides are already being taken to tackle these global problems as a result of favorable economic, social, and technological trends. If you know me well, you'll know that I'm already a pretty positive and optimistic person. So I naturally look for the upside in any situation. In fact, I was bought a t-shirt that says glass half full on the front. But if that's not your natural tendency, I would really encourage you to check out this book. You'll find a link in the podcast show notes on our website. Because in these dark times, it's good to remember how far mankind has actually come. And it's also good to remember how far you've come. So why not grab a pen and paper and make a note of all the positive things that have happened for you this year? Maybe things that you've come from negative experiences and all of the things that you are grateful for. Maybe lockdown has forced you to get to grips with technology, and now you're more connected than ever to your family. If you need more reasons to feel grateful, then you might be interested to learn that there are many scientifically proven benefits, from improved physical and mental health to getting better sleep to more and better relationships and reduced aggression. Some people find that keeping a gratitude journal where you make a note each evening before going to bed of 3 things you're grateful for that day can be really helpful. It can be something as simple as the sunrise you enjoyed whilst walking the dog, or especially warm or unexpected hug from a child. The reality is that being grateful for the small things is as important, if not more important, than being grateful for the bigger things that happen in our lives. We can find reason to be grateful in so many moments of our lives if we allow ourselves the time to notice. And the small things all mount up to one huge pile of gratitude and positivity. So why not give it a try? And as we head towards what could possibly be the strangest Christmas period we've ever experienced, after an unprecedented year, I hope you take a few moments to reflect on what you're grateful for in 2020. I'm grateful for you tuning in. I really am. And I wish you and yours a peaceful, happy Christmas. I'll be back next week with more reasons to be positive as we head towards 2021. For links to the book I mentioned and other useful information, check out the show notes on our website at theretirementcafe.co.uk. Be sure to subscribe either on our website or your preferred podcast player to catch up on next week's New Year's episode. Please share the link with your friends so we can increase our listeners to the podcast. Until next time, this is Justin King, helping you feel more informed in your retirement.